Okay. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon from wherever you are watching us today. Welcome to our stream. And today we have an amazing guest. And I would like her to introduce herself. And I know you are all going to love her story. Welcome, Esme.
Hi, thank you, Makubo. Yes, my name is Esme, um, and I've been learning Swahili for the past few years.
That is great.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, Busola, can you hear us? Hello. Okay, as we wait for him to work with his connection, because I see that he dropped off for a bit, what was that thing or what was the drive that made you to start learning Swahili?
Well, for me, it was my husband because before that I just knew one Swahili word, which was Simba. That was
Mm-hmm.
that was the only Swahili word I knew. And then after meeting my husband,
Mm-hmm.
and as soon as I met him, that's I started. He started teaching me some words, and then we eventually got more serious, and then we started seriously dating, and then at that moment, I knew like I'm gonna be learning Swahili.
Okay, that's
Mhm.
great. So, thank you so much, Busela, for joining this stream. Maybe you can introduce yourself to our viewers so that they get to know who is with us here today.
Okay, all right. So of course, it's my name is Busola, and always a privilege to co-host this program this stream every single time that we do this. Yeah, and I want to believe we're already. I mean, jump started with Esme, right?
Yes, we have.
Oh, great, awesome. She shared her background with us already.
She said that she knew a few words. Oh, sorry. She knew a few words, but because after she met her husband, that is when now she decided that she should learn this amazing language.
Yes.
Oh, oh, awesome, awesome. So I
Yeah.
mean, share with us, your because we actually connected with you on your Instagram page. So, I mean, if you could just give everyone the background of exactly, I mean, what you do, what inspired you to start the page, and what you
Mhm.
really, who do you really look at, when you started the entire idea?
Yes. So, like I mentioned before, I only knew one Swahili word, and after meeting my husband, that's when I knew like I'm gonna be learning Swahili. I'm gonna, to connect with my new family in Kenya. And so I had this idea about maybe 7 years ago, around
Mm,
there, to just start an Instagram of um, what I was learning because I didn't find a lot of places out there on the internet to learn Swahili at that time when I started.
mm,
So then I said, okay, maybe, I'm learning a few things from my husband. I found a few things online. Somebody else might also be wanting to learn. So I'm just going to put um, whatever I'm learning out there, especially because the things that I was learning, my husband would say, well, that's not how I say it. And I realized there's different types of Swahili. So that's when I decided, okay, whatever I'm learning, somebody else might want to learn this type of Swahili. So I'm just gonna make an Instagram page and put posts of what I'm learning.
wow, really nice. And I mean, what's it called? Like the the word is in my head right now. I mean, the measure of interactions you've been having since you started out.
The type of interactions within, like with Swahili and
No,
oh,
I want to be careful not to use the word acceptance. I would say more of, because I understand you. I mean, you started this out with the intent that, I mean, just someone like you could just be out there also looking forward to, learning the language and all that. But of course, I think it was very
Mm-hmm.
thoughtful of you to say, okay, I'm going to start this out with the little that I know. So that question actually speaks to, I mean, when you started out, I mean, did you started connecting with people like that? At least, no matter how little, I really don't want to focus on the numbers basically, but just
Oh,
speaking like with
okay.
respect to your intent.
Yeah. So at first it was just like very few followers, and then I started posting some content, and I do remember getting a comment from somebody um about what I had posted about like because I've the way of that my husband speaks, it's like a mixture of like Kikuyu and English and Swahili, and I think I posted something about kind of how he speaks, and it's Shang, sometimes it's Shang, and so it's a mixture. And I think somebody made a comment of how that was not why don't you just post about like just Swahili, like formal, like how it's supposed to be. And I replied saying, well, that was my intention at first. I'm just going to be posting on here what Swahili, and but I realized that's not going to be what I'm going to be learning. I'm going to be learning a little bit of kind of like the way my husband speaks it, not a formal Swahili or like a perfect, what someone would consider like perfect Swahili.
Oh, okay. That's nice. And I know a lot of people would have wanted you to, the way you are saying the perfect Swahili, one that can be examinated. Uh-huh.
Yes,
But yeah, it is good that you went with what you thought you wanted to do because that is originality, not doing what everyone was actually doing at that particular moment. Yeah.
right.
Now, uh, I remember when you say that your husband would correct you and saying, okay, would correct you if you say a certain word, and then he would say like, oh, that is not how you say it. Do you remember that one word that maybe he would correct you?
Well, I there's a lot, but the one I'd learned at the beginning was um nzuri with an N, and he would say, well,
Mm-hmm.
I say it with an he says it with an M, mzuri,
Mm-hmm.
like habari yasubuhi, and that's another one, habari. You hear habari za for good morning for the people who
Mm-hmm.
might not speak Swahili. Um, there's habari yasubuhi and habari za asubuhi, and
Asubuhi.
he
Mm.
uses the ya instead of the za. So little things like that.
Oh, okay. And at that
Mhm.
particular moment when you were learning and he was correcting you, how did you feel about it?
Um, I was just kind of like, no, I mean, I'm fine with correcting because he,
Mm-hmm.
that's, I want to learn. But then I'm just kind of thinking, like, well, everything I'm seeing over here online
Mm-hmm.
is this way. Thinking, well, how come you're saying it this way? So that's what kind of triggered more interest in like figuring it out why this is happening.
Oh, that is so nice. As we continue, I have a question that I want to ask. And during your start of this journey of learning Swahili, would you have imagined yourself reaching this level that you are at this moment? What effort did it take for you to reach where you are right now?
Hmm. Yeah, I never imagined that I would reach this level, and I think I'm still moving forward. I want to improve more, and but um, yeah, I it's just interesting how um, I guess God had a plan for me to learn Swahili because I just never imagined that I would be able to um, communicate in a different language as Swahili. So I'm just
Other
I'm
than
just
the one
happy.
you have? Yes, it did. God wanted you to learn Swahili because first you only knew one word, and then He gave you a husband who
Yes.
would now make you to want to learn the entire
Right.
language.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, that is great. Busela, do you have a question for our guest?
Yeah, one thing that I actually had in mind, I was very curious about is, um, I know you definitely, it's not as though you had a very systematic approach to learning everything that you have learned, right? But from your experience right now, if you knew, I mean, someone who was about to start younger, how would you suggest that they go about it, learning the language?
Hmm. I would suggest maybe learning like the basic sentence structure, and then learning a few vocabulary words that kind of relate to something that you like or that you're constantly around. Like for me, it's learning words that have to deal with food, and I'm teaching my kids. Um,
Yeah.
so things like, milk, word vocabulary words dealing. So I'll I'm still not at a level that I would like to be, just because, kids' life, it's super busy. But if you have
Mm.
kids and you want to practice, for me, like I'll ask my kids, unataka maziwa, for example, which do you want milk?
Mm-hmm.
Au maji, or water. So things like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yes, basic sentence structure. The unataka is, the do you want? Um, or you want, and depending how you emphasize it, could be you want or do you want. So yeah, so just basic sentence structure, and then a few vocabulary words around your world and what your interests are.
That is great. I
Okay,
love that you're
awesome.
also teaching your kids, and now maybe I'd like to know, do you have like a daily ritual that you do with your kids in order for them to learn Swahili?
I do. I have just something basic, like in the morning, like I'll say habari yasubuhi, good morning, and then in the
Mm,
evening, we'll say it in Spanish too, and then Swahili we'll say asante Mungu kwa siku nyingine, so thank you God for another day, and things like
mhm,
that. Hmm.
mhm. That is great because I know through
Hmm.
that ritual or that routine that you do each and every day, eventually they'll know this is what we say in Swahili at this particular time. That is nice. I was actually
Right.
reviewing some of the things that you can, parents or bilingual parents can use when they are teaching, or yeah, when they are, yeah, teaching their children Swahili. And I was talking of how we are going to, incorporate these phrases every day in our routines, which, you don't need extra time. You just use that time that you have, but you need to, woven the
Mm.
Swahili phrases into it. Yeah. And I can
Right.
see you're
Right.
doing exactly that, which is so nice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Esme, the going over to the kids now, because that's really like our major focus at Tayari.Live, because we know that it can be very challenging when you as a parent, you you want to transfer the language to the kid, and you don't necessarily have like that pure fluency. So how do you uh, I mean, if you're going to speak with maybe a parent right now that feels that same way, right? Like, what systematic approach would you, have them use? There's this pre-existing challenge I've used the word challenge because a lot of times parents feel if I want to pass something to my kids, it has to feel like that teacher-student relationship thing, right? And of course,
Hmm.
as a teacher, if you don't feel sufficient, if you don't have that sufficiency, if somehow it introduces a bit of hesitation to the degree with which you want to, go with them and all that. So basically, like, let's say we have a parent right now who is watching, who is in that same shoe. They're not so fluent in the language. Now let's not even just speak like just Swahili. Like, it could be any language at all. Even it could even be a foreign language. Like, how would you have them systematically approach? Since this is something you have practically done, I mean, for in a couple of years, how would you have them approach it?
Hmm. Yeah, you just have to, I guess, kind of get in the habit of just little phrases like your habits, and learning those phrases and then just using them with your kids. Because like for me, when I first started, I decided, I wanted my kids to be bilingual or multilingual.
Mm,
My son was a baby, and I would notice myself just going back to English to English. So you have to just kind of remind yourself and really be intentional about
mm,
what you want them to learn. So, yeah, just start little phrases here and focus on, okay, I gotta back to Swahili, or, if it's Spanish, I gotta focus on Spanish.
mm. Awesome, awesome. And another
Mhm.
question again about the kids now. Um, from your own experience, like how did you get that quick cooperation from them in wanting to pick up the language, or you had to maybe help them see the necessity for being bilingual because you can see the necessity for it. By the way, if you don't mind, if I ask your kids, do you have any teenagers amongst them? Yeah,
Can you repeat the question?
I said you have teenagers, your kids. Do you have any
Oh,
teenagers
no.
currently?
No, they're 7 and 4.
7 and 4. Oh, okay. So there's
Yeah.
still a measure of high level of compliance you will get from them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, but I was gonna really ask, like, how do you manage the? First of all, do you get that ready cooperation from them, and then when you don't get that, like, how do you manage that too? Because it's something for you as a parent to know how beneficial being multilingual is for them. It's
Hmm.
something for them to actually want to embrace it based on your effort. But how have you been able to manage that? I mean, basically.
Yeah. Well, for me, because they started when they were so young, um, they kind of they just go with it. But when it comes now that they're just a little bit older, like TV, like I'll try to find like Swahili, like if they want to do YouTube, okay, well, let's watch Akili and Me for a little bit. It's like, cartoons in Swahili. And they're that's not really what they're into right now. When they were younger, that they did like that. Now they like to watch something different. And then they're like, no, we don't want to watch that. Or even with Spanish too, I'll try to put maybe like a movie on Netflix, and or a show, and I'll put it in Spanish, and then
Mm,
they say then they ask for me to put it in English for them, and I'll say, okay, we'll do this in English first, and then we'll see how the words are said in Spanish, and then we'll try it, and we'll listen for that. So as far as TV, they do give me some pushback, but just if we're just speaking, in the house, in the community, um, they will reply to me like in Spanish, sometimes English. But yeah, it's the TV that they kind of give me more pushback with.
oh, all right. Well, of course, it's very much as expected. I was still dealing with something like this recently in one of our streams where because I basically deal with helping parents who want to learn Yoruba to come up to speed, and particularly with the kids. And sometimes, for example, this scenario you just presented right now, some parents could actually interpret it as they are rejecting the language, but they're not knowing that they're just their psychology is just going for what feels much more easy, you know. Of course, the YouTube channel, the TV should be entertainment. They don't want to have to start battling with the thought of making it feel like mathematics in their head, you know, as against
Yeah.
the entertainments they're actually
Mm-hmm.
looking for in the TV show and all of that. Yeah, so I know that it can be a lot, having to really arrest the interest of kids to language. Do you have any other plans aside from? I mean, I know you mentioned Swahili, Spanish, and Swahili. I mean, are there any other language that you would want them to also learn? And I mean, do you have a reason for that bias?
Yes, I do want them to learn Kikuyu just because that's my husband's native language. Um, and yeah, so there, as you may know, there's a lot of ethnic groups in Kenya, or or tribes, and he comes from the Kikuyu tribe. So I would like them to learn, and we have been trying to learn. It's for me, Kikuyu is a little bit more challenging, but we're definitely want to add that to our um, multilingual uh, to our
Language.
other language. Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, what exactly is challenging in Kikuyu? I think Diana, maybe Diana could also uh, could also validate. What exactly is challenging with it?
Well, for me, it's a little bit like the emphasis on the words. What's written isn't exactly what how it's pronounced. Do you speak Kikuyu, Mekubo?
No, I don't speak Kikuyu, but I'm
Okay.
trying to relate to Yoruba. You know, Yoruba also has those things up there.
Oh,
How do I call them? Yes, so same way with Kikuyu. So if you cannot pronounce
Oh,
them well, you might be saying something that is not that which you want to say.
oh,
hmm.
Yes, she's saying that whatever is written and how it is pronounced, it's totally different, you see?
Yeah. Like for example, grandma in Kikuyu is so so, but then if you see it written, it's like it looks like I believe like cuckoo,
See you,
like with see you. Yeah.
see you, yeah. Uh-huh.
oh,
Yeah.
I see. See,
Mm-hmm.
I see. So that means, wait, hold on a second, because I know I've never investigated this before. Do you have are there separate alphabets for each of the 52 different languages? I think there are 52, right? 52 or 55 different tribes in Kenya.
Okay, around there. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it that each language has its own specific alphabet system?
I'm actually doing the alphabets of all these particular languages. I think this is something I should do research on and get to do if we have different
Yeah.
for it. Yeah.
All right, nice. Of course, Yoruba has always had that challenge for well, I won't use the word challenge because, of course, as you then begin to get used to it, it then becomes a little
Mm-hmm.
bit of a no-brainer. So science definitely, they're actually called science, tonal science. For example, in Yoruba, when you see, I don't know whether are you using, okay, you're definitely using this one. For example, you see the vocabulary here, Ashawa, this, right?
Yeah.
This S-A, yeah. So that actually means our culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Spelling ASA could mean, it could mean a bird, like Asha, which is actually a bird. It could mean
Mm-hmm.
Asha. So what actually different is that sound. So the signs, uh, I mean,
Yeah, the science.
I
Yeah.
think that's what we
Mm-hmm.
call them. The sign it just changes the tonal value of whatever alphabet is sitting. But most of the times they're always present on the vowels, not all of the alphabet. So you don't see them on what the English uses as consonants. You don't see those signs on the consonants. You see them most
Hmm.
of the times on the vowels. So just to change, and that's what that's where the the I was
The
about to say
challenge
tonal
comes
value,
in.
but that's more of a piano vocabulary than than language vocabulary. But that's actually where it comes from. That
Mm-hmm.
once that switches, you have to pronounce it in a different way based on the sounds, the and and then and all that. So yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, it was also because I think the Swahili. I've learned a bit of Swahili because Mekubo is one of our not one of Mekubo is our I mean senior teacher at Tayari.Live. So in the earlier days when I got into Tayari.Live, she took us on a few foundational things, and it felt very straightforward because I mean you didn't have to battle with the sounds, the um, furahi, which other ones that uh,
Kwaheri.
Kwaheri, yes, all of those ones. They didn't feel very challenging. I feel, oh, I mean, this is actually something I think I can pick in 2 weeks. But then by the time I started investigating to know that dude, that's also one variant out of like 52, I'm like, oh my goodness,
Mhm.
there's a long way to live. Yeah. So great. Thank you so
Sure, there
much
is. Yeah.
for answering these questions. I know you said what really is, I mean, sparked your interest is, I mean, your husband, your hobby, which
Yes.
is really quite unusual. Um, but let me also put this
Why?
here.
Why is it unusual?
It's very difficult for husbands to teach wives stuff. Very difficult, or wives to teach husband.
I
That familiarity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, did you have that experience?
am. Which one?
I mean, that's so there is this. Let me take it the context away now. So
Okay.
there's always this issue of husbands cannot teach their wives how to drive, right? So that friction of learning between couples. I don't know. Did you have that friction at all?
Um, yeah, there is a little bit, um, because I'm always the one kind of like asking, like, how do you say this? How do you say that? And he's more like, just doing his thing and it's speaking English most of the time. So I kind of have to be the one like asking, like, hey, and asking him also, can you speak Swahili with the kids? And like, can we switch over to Swahili? So in that sense, yes, I'm the one that's always
What is
like asking.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
Of the effort is actually really coming from you. That
Yeah, I think most of the time, yeah.
uh,
Mhm.
okay, all right. Okay, but I don't know if you have any other questions for Esme.
Yeah. Since I'm mostly on the language, and I would like to know what was the hardest parts of you while you are learning Swahili. I know there are
Uh,
challenges here and there, but there was
yeah.
that hardest part of your journey.
hmm I think just getting over the how would you say it? Like, having enough repetition to kind of have it
Mm-hmm.
stick. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Getting over that. That's what kind of like helped me get to the next level, or just hearing it, looking for videos, like YouTube videos of somebody just speaking it naturally, as opposed to like learning it on paper, a more formal way. I remember
Mm-hmm.
looking for YouTube videos of just, someone just posting just their
Mm-hmm.
daily life, and I did find one, and she was saying to her son, something about how do you say or what do you say, like, you're saying someone gives you something, or you say thank you, so, una semanini. And I think just hearing her say it in a natural way kind of helped me get past that, and kind of helped me
Mm-hmm.
just learn it. So then I started using it with my kids, and so just hearing somebody speak it, that helped me get
Mm-hmm.
through that hump of it's not sticking. It's not sticking.
Mm, okay. But you were saying that you were looking for these people now. I believe right now a lot of people are out here and they are trying to teach their kids, which is now becoming even easier for you to keep up and also helping your kids with, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot more
Yeah.
now.
So than a long time ago, because I'm pretty sure a lot of bilingual parents are now embracing it and now they are putting it into the internet to show their daily routine with their kids, which is also good because I can see it's being, a motivation or a motivation to other parents who want to do the same. Now, is speaking. Now, let us look at speaking, listening, vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, or understanding native speakers the biggest challenge for you right now. Okay, we are talking about right now before we move back to when you are starting. How is it right now
Um,
between all that, where we have speaking, listening,
mhm.
vocabulary, grammar, as well as pronunciation,
Yeah.
which is your biggest challenge?
Yeah, right now I think the biggest challenge for me is the hearing when someone's speaking. Like I'm trying to just, on Instagram, someone just speaking it and they're talking
Mm-hmm.
about just, whatever it's going on in their life and I will catch just a few words. So the hearing is really fast. So I'm still having some if you say just like a short phrase, I will get it. But if you just
Mm-hmm.
start speaking Swahili and it's a fast, then that's when I only catch a few words. Hmm.
Okay. You'll soon get there where you'll be in a position of hearing us speak as fast as we do
Yeah.
sometimes.
Mhm.
Yes. Now, is there one thing that you thought that person would have explained it to you when you are starting, when you are first starting to learn this language, when you now decided and say, now I want to learn this language.
Mhm.
For my generation to come, because this is a gift that I'd want to pass it on to my kids, because they need to know their roots, they need to know their heritage, they need to know their culture and all that.
Mhm. Yeah, I think for first, just like basic sentence structure, learn that first. Because I think,
Mm-hmm.
and I did mention this earlier, I was kind of like maybe just learning a lot of vocabulary. And yeah, that's helpful, but then it kind of gets lost if you don't use it. So just learning the basic sentence structure first, that I think that's is, if I could go back and just mainly focus on that and then maybe a little bit less vocabulary at the beginning, I think that's what's helpful.
Yeah, actually, that is true.
Hmm.
Vocabulary is enough. Vocabularies are not enough. You need to be confident in speaking, because I know sometimes we adults would become a little bit shy, uh-huh, because we fear making mistakes, and you'd want to push back a little bit because you're not sure if you're going to pronounce this particular word correctly, or you're going to miss it a little bit, and then you feel like, oh, let me not speak because I might make mistake. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, indeed. Let's go back, know the sentence structure, and then vocabulary will actually follow. You keep on the jar with the vocabularies as you now become
Right.
confident in speaking. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Esme, do you utilize music? Any other thing aside from the regular learning vocabulary? Maybe another thing, music, stories, any other thing? Have you tried any other thing aside from what you were learning, basically?
Oh, yes, definitely. Music, for sure, music. Um, Afro beats. I love Afro beats. Um, and then
Really? Interesting.
yes, yes, and then yeah, I got, when I met back to going back to my husband when I first met him, he introduced me to some African music and Afro beats, and I was just like, why didn't I Never heard this before. Why? Like, why? I was just so shocked. I'm like, this is,
Which
yeah,
world were you living in?
right, right, exactly. So yeah, like the first song was like a Yemi Alade song and Sauti Soul, which is a Kenyan and and Nigerian. So I was just like, why have I never heard this before? So music is definitely a big part of it. That's helping me learn Swahili for sure. And then on Spotify, I did find like a storyteller who does Swahili
Oh.
stories, and then she also does them in English. So then that's another way of learning. I'm like, okay, if I don't know this word, let me listen to it in English, see if I can get what she's saying. Mm.
Mm, that is nice. Yeah, learning from Sauti Sol. Actually, Sauti Sol are very nice songs. And the first person to hear say that you'd listen to them, their songs are just, I cannot say that they're slow paced, but you can understand what they are saying in most cases.
Yes. Mhm.
So when you say that, okay, there's this point where we have said that we adults fear making mistake. At some point, when as you are learning Swahili, because you're still learning,
Right.
yeah, is there anyone who has laughed at you apart from your husband that, oh no, that is not how you say it?
Uh-huh.
Hmm?
Um,
Apart from your husband,
Apart from my
actually,
husband,
do you have any other person who has? Mm.
I don't think oh, well, I did say something on I recorded a video that I posted and it had something to do with the R's because the R's in Spanish are a little bit different than the R's in Swahili and it was a very kind way the way she made a comment and she was just explaining like it's someone who teaches Swahili and she just mentioned, something that I could work on with my R's. And and yeah, no, it's definitely something that I had been working on. I'm trying to think of the word, like is it habari? Habari? Because like habari and kwaheri, kind of like you kind of roll your R's a little bit. But but it's not. And I'm trying to think of the word that I used in the video, and then they did make a comment. But besides that, I haven't really had much practice. I've had because, like what you're saying, I think definitely a little bit afraid of making mistakes, but I have to do practice with somebody else besides my husband. That's what's going to help me grow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
that makes
true. And
sense.
at
That makes a lot of
Tayari.live,
sense.
we can offer you that.
Say it again.
They're saying that if you want to do it with someone who is not your husband, at Tayari.live, we can definitely offer you that.
Oh, yes. Yes. I have been looking into that, especially for my kids. Um, so yes, I think that would be a good idea.
All right, awesome. In your direct geography there, do you have any Swahili community at all? I mean, church, anywhere. I mean, is there any existing one?
In this community, unfortunately, no. We know like one other Kenyan family. Um, so everything is pretty much online. Yeah, not here.
Oh wow,
Yeah. I know
wow.
in the US there definitely are communities where there's a lot of Kenyans or people from East Africa, but not here, not in this part of California.
I see.
Mhm.
Okay, well, hopefully something can spring up in the closest future then. Hopefully,
Yes, yes.
because I know there's a lot of what's it called, um, relocation going on in the recent past, and hopefully I think that because just like you said, speaking with other people. For an example, let me give an example of myself. I grew up in a very dense Yoruba environment. I mean, as much as we speak all the English in school and the private school that I went to, but the kids that I got to play with when I got back from school, even my parents as well too, they were my mom specifically was very deliberate. She would not use any English word with us in the house. She would deliberately speak the local language so that whatever you did not understand, of course, now the minor advantage for her, which is not there right now, was that media was not really much of a thing then. So you did not have much option than to interact with your
True.
parents and every single person in your physical environment. That I mean, not now where everything is democratized. A child can actually have their own device and all of that. So, so the environment was really Yoruba tense. I played football in the community. We spoke the local language and we played football. Even when you wanted to go buy stuff, the attendant at the store was going to definitely Yoruba. It was just
Yeah.
everywhere, so it was really very easy to, I mean, to speak. So yeah, that community thing would really, 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 really help. It will really, really help. Yeah, and hopefully, like I said, hopefully something good can spring up very soon in California. I think that would be all for me. I don't know if Diana has any other thing that our viewers can benefit from.
No, no, no. I do not have any other thing to. Okay, I do not have any other question to ask, but I'll just say that you are doing well in learning this precious language, and you're also doing well in teaching your kids, because heritage for your kids knowing their knowing their heritage is very nice, because in the future they'd want to know who are they, where do they come from. They'd want to learn the culture, the values, and all that, and they may not see it right now, but in future it's
Yeah.
going to make a lot of sense. Yeah. So continue learning. Learning has no end. In Swahili we say elimu ni bahari.
Elimu ni
Elimu,
bahari.
yes.
Okay.
It never ends. It never ends. You keep learning and learning and learning. Yeah.
Yes, true.
So yeah, keep up the good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. And really, I want to really, finally just commend, because a lot of people want to feel very ready. Of course, we connected on your Instagram page, and I think everyone should check her page out. It's I love Swahili, right? Let me be correct. Let me be sure that I have the handle correctly. Uh, yeah, that it's I love Swahili. Yeah, I
I
think it's
love,
something everyone.
but it's spelled
Yeah, everyone
love,
should actually.
LUV.
Yeah, I'm gonna paste this in the chat section so anyone who is watching can also just quickly check it out. So again, it's really commendable. Most people want to feel very ready before they start anything like that. But I must commend you for just putting yourself out there, even when you're still on your way to learn, and there's still a lot of gaps
Yes.
to cover. But it's really very commendable. It's very common, and I'm hoping. In the closest future, it's definitely going to be somewhere, where anyone who wants to learn Swahili, it would be their go-to. Definitely, we are partnering with everyone at Tayari.Life who has this vision at heart as well too. So it's not a competitive ground, and that's definitely the reason we just thought about. Let's bring Esme on the ground. Let this be more of a partnership thing. So again, great work that you're doing, and again, like I said, hopefully in future, just as we're working towards it here to Attire.Life, it will definitely be someone's go-to when they want to learn. So I don't know if Esme also you have any final words. A parents could be watching, maybe something you really want them to really keep in mind with respect to heritage maintenance and all that.
Yeah, just remember to kind of set your mind on the language, because it's so easy to just, go back to English, English. You got to really be mindful and intentional of using the language that you want them to learn. If your community language is English and you want them to learn Swahili, then you got to keep going the Swahili at home, and or whatever language you want them to learn.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That makes sense. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone, for joining in today. Like I said, please kindly check Esme's Instagram page. Is I Love Swahili. The love is spelled Luv. That's ILUV, and then Swahili. All right. Connect with her, and then just interact some of our content as well too. So, from me and Mekubo, it's always a joy to do this with you guys every single time. So be on the lookout. We're going to be coming up with more streams, of course, valuable content regarding language and culture and heritage and all that. So thank you so much for joining the stream. We will see in the next one. Bye for now. I think you should say bye.
Kwaheri.
You should say your bye
Go,
in exactly in Swahili.
go ahead.
Kwaheri.
Kwaheri. Alrighty, everybody. I'll be